The Lord be with you. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Luke. Jesus journeyed to a city called Nain, and his disciples and a large crowd accompanied him. As he drew near to the gate of the city, a man who had died was being carried out, the only son of his mother, and she was a widow. A large crowd from the city was with her. When the Lord saw her, he was moved with pity for her and said to her, "Do not weep." He stepped forward and touched the coffin. At this the bearers halted, and he said, "Young man, I tell you, arise." The dead man sat up and began to speak, and Jesus gave him to his mother. Fear seized them all, and they glorified God, exclaiming, "A great prophet has arisen in our midst, and God visited his people." This report about him spread through the whole of Judea and in all the surrounding region. My dear friends, the Gospel of the Lord. Just last Thursday night, it was raining in Sasa, Davao City. I had a sick call to administer for a family friend of mine whose wife already surrendered from the hospital because all of their money was already eaten up. They had lack of resources already because for so many times she had been going back and forth to the hospital. So when I arrived in the bedroom of the sick woman, she was all in smiles. I was surprised. And she said, "Father, I am now surrendering myself before God. I am ready when the Lord will take me back to his home." And after performing the sacraments of anointing, confession, and the Holy Communion, I bade goodbye and assured her of our prayers. But before, when she was lying on her bed, before I left, she took a small wallet under her pillow, and in that wallet, there were two pieces of 100 peso bill, crumpled 100 peso bill, and she gave it to me after pressing it and said, "Father, for you." When she handed it to me, I cannot take it, and I said, "Thank you for your generosity. You are already healed. You are already cured. You need it more now." But she insisted and tried to say, "Father, for you, my way of thanking you." And I said, "I already accepted your gratitude. Just keep it for you now because you need it now." And she said, "Okay, Father, be safe as you go home." While I was driving my Volkswagen, literally my tears really fell down on my cheeks because I remembered how pitiful this woman was. But in her situation, all their money already spent because of her sickness, she was able to really show compassion to others. It was me who was touched by her generosity, by her love, by her gratitude. My dear friends, even during the time of Jesus, there were a lot of people looking and waiting to be touched by the pity, by the mercy, by the compassion, by the love of Jesus. That's why Jesus, no wonder, showed his compassion, showed his love, showed his generosity when people go to him and ask for help. The story of the widow whose son died in the gospel is an example to that. When they came to Jesus without hesitation, Jesus touched the coffin. Imagine, even in touching, the bearers halted, and when he said, "Young man, I tell you, rise up," the dead man sat up and began to speak, to which everybody was so fearful because the dead man now rose from the dead. My dear friends, yes, Jesus is so compassionate. Jesus is so loving. Jesus is so generous. He always shows pity to the needy. Today, my dear brothers and sisters, a lot of people wants to be cured. A lot of people wants to be healed. A lot of people wants to experience the mercy, the compassion, the love, the generosity of Jesus. How many among the young people of today whose parents are away, waiting to be listened to when they speak about their problems of life in the family? How many among the wives whose husbands are away from home, are working abroad, experience the loneliness and the difficulty to raise their children alone? How many among the husbands whose work are very hard just to support the family have experienced being tired, and even in that tiredness they continue to show compassion, to show their love to others? My dear friends, we need to be touched today. We need the healing touch of Jesus. We need the compassion of Jesus. It is my call. It is your call. It is our call. It is the challenge for each one of us to be compassionate, to listen to one another, to accept each other, to show pity to one another. We need to heal each other. We need to forget ourselves and listen and touch the weak ones, the sick ones, the lonely, and the sinners. Today, my dear friends, in the gospel, let us be challenged by the action of Jesus, raising up the dead, by our generosity, by our compassion, by our unconditional love for each one. Maybe the member in the family, our workmate, our very own friends, they are the ones waiting for our touch today, waiting for our healing hand today. Let us be mindful of them. And like Jesus, let us tell them, arise, my dear friend, by our love, by our compassion, by our pity, by our unconditional acceptance to them. Let us touch each other spiritually so that we may be able to rise in faith, hope, and love.